So you've obviously had a lot of support, but in particular, what stood out for you in terms of people's support?
Right, the first one, this was on the Tuesday, about 10 o'clock, and this one stuck with me ever since this happened. I mean, there's been obviously bigger donations or whatever else, but Tuesday 10 o'clock we had, I've got his name in my back pocket, from the Fire Brigade Union, from our local Newport guys down there. They've done a whip round. This is Tuesday morning, you know, it hasn't been going, 9 or 10 hours, and they raised us 150 quid.
Wow.
And they came up and said, you've got our full supporters, and for the guys upstairs,
does that make
morale
it?
booster,
Yeah.
you know, it's our fire brigade, you know, it's another service. You know, you sort of think, well, they'll probably be against us because the police and whatever else, but yeah, that really sticks out in my mind. But there's other ones like an old lady in London, 82, went around a local pub and in 15 minutes she got 42 quid. These little stories like that, it's just like, wow. But we have been inundated with cheques and money, and really at the end of this we really all need to sit down and start working out how to get the thank yous out, because it's been immense. People from all over the country just with 20 quid.
And what sort of, where have you been, in terms of people who come and visited, where they come from?
All over, Nottingham, Bristol, Dorset, just all over.
Lindsay.
Yeah,
Oh, you've had Lindsay, yeah?
Williams from Lindsay.
Oh, Rob Williams, yeah?
Yeah, he came down with 250 quid for us yesterday.
I understand as well that you've had the Vistian workers down.
From the start really, weren't they? They started coming to some of the meetings and giving their advice, you know, sort of just saying it can be done and encouragement there.
Why do you think why do you think that sort of support is so important in something like this?
I think because we were so scared to do anything. When you heard that other working guys had made a difference to themselves, you thought, well,
message of solidarity.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And one positive thing from this, I know damn well that when this finishes and there's the next one that happens, that I will not just see it on the news.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, I could probably get down there. Even if I can't, I can send a message of support or something like that. You know, I think that's changed a lot of people.
It's yeah. I'd have to say it's the same for us. You know.
Yeah, I think it's.
That and it's funny because once it happens, like you said, it then becomes, it's not just your struggle, it's, you know, that all the struggles are connected, aren't they, in a way? Because we're all fighting for the same thing, which is to be treated with respect and to be listened to. And you meet a lot of good people on the way, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's unusual, this one, because we've got so many people working together on the same goal. Like the climate camp guys and, you know, SWP and just so many different people. But normally you might find that people wouldn't get on together or there'd be some conflicts. But this is very unusual that everybody's actually working together on the same...
Why do you think this campaign has brought so many people together? What do you think the issues are that have kind of ignited that?
I think it's the environment, which is, of course, you know, that affects us all, which unites us. The economy, which affects us all, which unites us.
Just going on to that, it seems kind of a bit of a paradox that Ed Miliband can say that he wants to provide, you know, grants and capital for the green industry, and yet in the same breath says that you can't help out Vestas. What do you think about that?
Well,
and what do you think the solution is around the whole issue of climate change and how we're going to manage it over the next sort of 10 to 15 years?
the official government line that the closure of this factory is a commercial decision. It's true, it is, in a way it is a commercial decision, but it's the government and its planning laws that have caused this commercial decision.
Can you explain that a bit more?
Well, there's been a lot of NIMBYism due to wind turbines. Even here on the island, they wanted to put some up, and local campaigns thwarted them. There needs to be some kind of effort from the government to say to every region that, look, you're either going to have a nuclear power station or you're going to have wind turbines. You can choose which one it's going to be, but you've all got to share your load. I mean, we've got the best wind resources in Europe. And
is that specific to Britain in terms of its geography?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, definitely. And there's no reason not to do it at the end of the day. We're reliant so much on gas from Russia. Our energy security is awful. We need to become more self-sufficient.
Why would you say wind power rather than nuclear? I mean, are you saying wind power is better than nuclear, or?
Yeah, I mean, green energy and energy production is always evolving. Today it's going to be wind power. In the future it's going to be something else, tidal power, for instance. But we need to run with these technologies, and we need to get them up and running. We should have been doing it 10, 15 years ago. You know, it's not too late, but it's definitely getting that way. And I think building nuclear reactors is just folly, really. And another thing I'd like to note is that Gordon Brown's brother works for EDF Energy in the Public Relations Department.
Are you suggesting there might be a link here somehow?
I think, well, yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry, I
so.
don't want to be part of this anymore.
I think so.
So I suppose so you're saying that one of your key demands is that the government should start regulating the use of wind power,
Yeah.
and essentially saying to the British people that if we're going to sustain energy for the coming period, we need to start thinking about how we're going to do it, and it should be everyone's responsibility. What about people who say, but they're an ugly eyesore on the landscape?
better than a power station, definitely.
Yeah, and it seems to be the retired generation, especially on the Isle of Wight, that are up in arms, and that makes me feel sick.
Why is that then, Sean?
Well, because I've got a young family, I've got twins at home, they're 2. And it's these old people on the Isle of Wight that seem to be, not in my backyard, but it's so selfish of them, because they're not going to be around in 10, 20 years' time. They're not going to see the devastating effects of global warming in this country and world. And they shouldn't be allowed to force an opinion on it, to be quite honest with you, unless it's a positive opinion.
If you ask most kids, they love wind turbines. They're the future at the end of the day. I mean, we need to take the market out of this, because the market is not going to solve the environmental crisis the world's facing. It needs to be the people through the government, if that would be preferable. We need to sort this out. The market's got us in this state in the first place, and it's not going to solve this.
Just kind of moving on then. I mean, what are your next steps in terms of your occupation and obviously the campaign to save jobs and raise these wider issues around sustainability and the use of energy? I suppose I'm asking, how do you think you're going to win? It's the $24 million question.
Well, yeah, we're just going to stay here for as long as it takes.
As long as those boys
But what are your next? Have you got any kind of ideas about how you're going to maybe spread it or maintain
we
it?
haven't actually had to do very much. It's actually just progressed itself naturally. A lot of stuff that's going on now has been taken away from our hands. Of course, we've started the ball, but the ball's been taken all over the world. Like, we've got a guy going to Copenhagen tonight to talk to all the union.
What's the significance of Copenhagen?
Denmark.
Yeah, it's Denmark, where Vestas comes from.
Right, so it's actually a Danish company.
Yeah, and we've got one of the guys from Vestas, a senior shop steward. Well, I'm hoping he's going to be there tonight. A senior shop steward who's in a union for Vestas in Denmark that we're hoping will attend as well tonight. So we've been talking to him on the
Is
phone.
there any talk of the workers in the Danish factory actually going out on strike in solidarity?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're losing 1,500 jobs at the same time in Denmark at the Lem factory. But from what we've heard, the redundancy payments in Denmark are completely different from over here. I think some people have mentioned they get up to a year's salary. Everybody gets a year's
I mean, is this a fight over jobs or a fight over better redundancy agreement?
It's both in a way.
Yeah.
It's both.
It would be great to keep our jobs. It would also be absolutely essential that we get a better redundancy package. Some of the guys that are up in the occupation looking £200 for their
No.
redundancy package.
You are joking.
No, not at all. That's why, they're there. They've been penalised for their age and they've been penalised for length of service. And that, as far as I'm concerned, should not be. When we had big redundancies from Vestas here 6 months ago at the wood shop, they got a 10 grand blanket and had to sign a waiver that they would never come back with a company with any medical conditions. But they got a 10 grand blanket regardless of length of service.
Right.
So,
And now they're offering 200 quid.
200 quid, yeah. I mean, I've worked there for 3 years, I'm looking at £2,300, which, is jack shit.
Is it? I mean, also I've heard that one of the plans is to ship the production out to America, where the turbines are currently being used in their market. Does that mean taking equipment out of this factory physically?
Mould 8, yeah, just one of the moulds.
Because that could be a key part of an occupation, is this preventing any of the kind of asset stripping of the factory itself.
We did sort of think about this. It was a sort of angle we looked at the beginning, but a lot of it is obsolete. It's run down, broken equipment really. That's apart from one mould that they're going to take mould 8.
Do you think that was a kind of conscious strategy on behalf of the management to wind things down?
They told us last August that if we worked hard and we worked more shifts, longer hours, that our parent company Vestas would invest and retool the factory for a new process. £50 million of